Hi guys, ArchieLuxury on the Paul Pluta channel. Today I'm doing paid review 22QB60 quick wristwatch check. I'm wearing my Rolex Sky Dweller. This is for Jeffa. Dear Paul, I will start by saying how sorry I was to have missed you in London. I was unfortunately occupied with campaigning for the local London elections at the time of your visit. I am, however, pleased you had a great time and Mr. Thorpe was a good host to you whilst in the United Kingdom. I am sure every time you look down at your gifted Sky Dweller, it will remind you of the monumentous occasion it was. In August 2020, I had a paid review entitled Conservative Counsellor Needs Omega Man on the Moon, reference 20 JUL 82. In this review, you gave me an insight into your political mindset, which was most entertaining. I myself am also a huge Margaret Thatcher fan and serve through her style of politics and principles. All my campaigning certainly paid off, as I have the great honour of being re-elected for another 4 years of office. It would appear I'm in your debt once again, as your advice has seen me do extremely well for myself. I am contemplating in the last review the purchase of a two-tone Daytona or a Speedmaster Man on the Moon. You advised me to go back to the AD and say the two-tone wasn't good enough. I didn't purchase the Speedmaster at the time because the new model, the 3861 movement, was imminent for release. So I thought it'd be better to wait on the Speedy and tell the AD I won't settle for a two-tone Daytona. A few months pass and I got the phone call for a stainless steel black dial Daytona 116500LN. Of course, I grabbed the opportunity with both hands. I've sent you a $200 donation as a token of my appreciation and for this paid review. Background: 42-year-old local politician from southeast London. I split my time between the politics and working with my good wife at her physical therapy clinic. 2 children, 10 and 13, busy and sometimes stressful life, but always it seems to pay dividends. The watches, da-da-da-da. He's got a 126300 Rolex Datejust 41, smooth bezel, Jubilee bracelet, and rhodium dial. He's got a 114060 Rolex Submariner no date, 40mm ceramic. He's got a 216570 Explorer 2 Polar dial, 42mm. And of course, he's got the Daytona, the 116500LN Rolex Daytona stainless steel black dial. All the above purchased new from an authorized dealer. Since purchasing the Daytona, I really have not had the urge to add anything. It appears to have quenched my thirst for watches. So do I add the Man on the Moon, or is it just pointless now? The only thing I have a real desire for is a solid gold piece, or should this be the end of my horological journey? Your thoughts, please, Paul. Kind regards and love your work, Jaffa. There we go. Congratulations on getting re-elected. Very, very good. This is in the council elections there. Well done indeed. I gotta tell you, the politics in the UK is something that I gotta be honest with you, I find it rather scary. There was so much talk about Boris Johnson. They hit the roof and said he had parties at number 10 and blah, blah, blah. You know what? I seriously think in some ways they should just move on. and don't worry about these petty things. It's really quite disappointing. It is really quite disappointing the way they continually, after Boris, and the country needs strong leadership to keep going. And I've got to be honest with you, England, since Brexit, it's been difficult. It's very difficult for trade, and England's got so many nasty things. Death duties, yuck. That's a very yucky. I could never live in London. I could never live, well, London's so expensive, but I could never really move to the UK with death duties looming. Yeah, I don't want to give 40% of the money away. That's just really quite an awful tax. But well done. Look, what do I think of your collection? You're very lucky there. And I think you've got a nice collection. So you've got a steel Datejust, smooth bezel Jubilee bracelet with rhodium dial. That's a nice, very low-key. That's a low-key watch. Note 8 sub. That's your perfect watch. Again, it's a low-key diver. Rolex. It's just classic. It's beautiful. An Explorer 2, that gives you your GMT function. And then we have got a Daytona. So you are a really lucky man. Let me say this to you. That's a windfall and a half. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Rolex. Look, the question is, what should you do with your collection there? I would seriously say to you, in many ways, you can do nothing. Keep what you've got, just hold. Look, would I get the Speedmaster Man on the Moon? And the answer is I would. And the reason I say that is I love Rolex, I love Omega, but I think it's just really cool. See, Rolex doesn't really do a manual wind, a mechanical manual wind. They used to have the Oyster Date, but that was in a bike. That's a 34mm watch. So they don't really have a manual wind piece. You could go Cellini, but I really think to have a Omega Speedmaster is a very clever idea, particularly with the politicking and that there sometimes you want something that's not a Rolex. I think the Speedmaster is a great watch to have. And if you're making the bucks, let's face it, these elected representatives get good money. I'd easily get a Speedmaster. Speedmaster is a very iconic, it's a very, very nice piece to have. So do you need it or you don't need it? You don't really need it, but I think I would probably add the Speedmaster. I would indeed. Now, what else would I add here? Now, I gotta be honest with you. I would also say to you, maybe down the track, a Reverso would be great, because King Edward himself had a Reverso. King Edward VIII. He had a Reverso. That's a very cool watch. I reckon they're a beautiful dress watch without being gold. See, it kind of the Patek, maybe a little bit too. Being a politician, you've always got to downplay the successes that you've had there. So I think myself, if I was in your position there, I would add the Speedmaster. because it's just such a, it helps you. I've actually owned Speedmasters a couple of times, and I think they're the they're iconic, they're classic. I'd possibly go for the Sapphire Sandwich. I think that's a great watch. I love them. I think it's nice to have a manual wind. It's also good to have a non-Rolex. As far as the only other thing, I mean, it'd be great down the track. I think you've got a couple ways I would go. Never stop buying watches. You always add one. You don't have to add one every year, but add a watch, add quality. If I were you, I would grow the collection out. I would get the Speedmaster. I would get a steel Reverso. And then once you retired, I'd get either a Patek Philippe dress watch, or I would get a Rolex Day-Date 40. And that's how I would conclude the collection. Now, with the Omega, buying it new or secondhand doesn't really matter. I actually like the 1861. I got the last of the last. It had the monster box. I think they have got some collectability, so don't always assume the latest is always the greatest. So I would say I would get one. Yes, I would. Then I would add a how old are you? You said there. You said you did you tell me how old you were? You in your 40s? 42. I'd add a Reverso, and on retirement I'd add a Patek or a Day-Date. I think you've got a very beautiful collection. You've been very fortunate. You've been spoiled. Enjoy it. And I think that's a brilliant collection. You don't have to do anything. You could stop and say, that's it. I got enough. Don't want any more. That's it. The other thing I would make sure you do is make sure you get the wife a steel Rolex. You've got to get her a steel Rolex, definitely. Definitely need to get the wife a steel Rolex of some sort. I think that'd be a good thing. I find as you get older and later on in life, it's more fun to give than to receive. So, you know, I think to give your wife a Rolex would be a great way I would go. Amazing collection. I'm glad it worked out for you. And congratulations on winning another term. That's a great thing to do. Public service. People criticize the politicians, and you know, I feel myself, if I was a politician, I would be looking at removing speed cameras, removing so many nanny state apparatuses, speed cameras, parking cameras, all this shit. I got to be honest with you, England isn't really that friendly. It's a fine place. They fine you. That's what I think is disappointing. So I would be trying to move against fines and cameras and regulation. Security cameras are okay, but I must be honest with you, the parking, the way England does the parking fines and infringements, yuck. So there we go. Great collection. Well done. And I will see you in the next one. Okay, guys, like, subscribe, tell your friends. Tell me what you think, guys. Don't be afraid to put a few comments below. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to put some comments. Remember, guys, I can't survive on Google Ads. I need more paid reviews. Without paid reviews, I really can't survive on YouTube. Without the paid reviews, I can't survive. Also, you can sponsor me on Patreon. It allows you to pay as little as $1 a month, and it keeps me going on YouTube. Okay, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Hi guys, it's ArchieLuxury. Guys, I want to talk to you about David SW. David SW, David SW. Guys, if you are in America, if you are looking for a Rolex watch of your dreams, in fact, if you're looking for a contemporary modern wristwatch, I strongly advise you to look at David SW. Guys, don't play the dealer games. Don't bring in chocolates or Krispy Kremes for your dealer hoping to get a Rolex at retail. It's futile. Please, guys, save your dignity. Keep some pride. Go to David SW. I would highly recommend David SW, David SW. If you're in America and you're looking for a watch, go to David SW, David SW, David SW. Hi guys, ArchieLuxury, and today guys, I'm very proud to introduce a new sponsor of the ArchieLuxury and the Paul Pluta channels. Who am I talking about? WatchShopping.com, WatchShopping.com, WatchShopping.com. Check them out, guys. Jump online, check out WatchShopping.com. These guys here have been in business since 2017. Worldwide shipping and distribution. Over 10,000 wristwatches in inventory. Stock in hand, and 90 plus different brands, new and pre-owned. Now, the good thing about WatchShopping.com, trusted by over 4,000 reviews on Chrono24 and Trustpilot. Your one-stop shop to buy any watch your heart desires. Please, guys, check out WatchShopping.com, WatchShopping.com, WatchShopping.com. I'm ArchieLuxury, and check out WatchShopping.com. Hey guys, ArchieLuxury on the YouTube sensation, the Paul Pluta channel. Guys, I need you to help me out, guys. I can't survive on Google Ads alone. I need you to request a paid review. $50 US. Look down in the description. $50 US. I will review your collection. I'll tell you what I think of it, and I'll give you some pointers. The other thing is, guys, you can sponsor me on Patreon. Patreon allows you to pay a couple bucks a month, $1, $2, $5, whatever you want, and it keeps me going on YouTube because, guys, I'm in a niche. Nobody can make money out of the views I get. The views are crap because it's a small specialized area, and I don't talk about garbage for the sake of views. Guys, sponsor me on Patreon. Look down below, and I will see you in the next one.